I smoked the brisket for 24 hours and the results were shocking. I'm going to walk you through the entire process of trimming, seasoning, smoking, and slicing beef brisket. Let's go. Only on Orozco's Kitchen. After watching this entire video, you'll be a master at cooking beef brisket. Guaranteed. And I want to hear your comments. And if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today we're going to be making beef
Brisket.
We're going to be making a simple recipe with lemon pepper, garlic here, and steak Montreal seasoning. We're using mustard as our binder. Alright, so the very first thing we're going to do here is start trimming the fat. There's two sides to trimming the fat. There's the more meaty side, and then there's the other side, which is the back side, which has most of the fat. I like to start at the top and start trimming on the sides here and shaping the brisket. And once you get one side, go ahead and flip it to the other side, and there's like this little channel here. It's like a little eye socket. You want to take all the fat off of here too. You know, this brisket, it has a ton of fat. There's a layer of fat right in the center of the brisket, so you don't really need all this fat. It actually just makes it taste too fatty and not good. So this is why pretty much everyone recommends that you take this fat off. And right here, this is the point. I'm going to go ahead and take off most of the fat on the point. I leave just a little. I know some people like to leave no fat on there, but I like to leave just a little bit. So what's recommended is to go ahead and trim the fat down to 1/4 inch all together on this fat side. And make sure you have a sharp knife. And if you don't, you're going to struggle. This knife, it needed a little bit more sharpening, but still not too bad. Definitely going to invest in a better knife. So if you've never trimmed a brisket before, go ahead and make sure that you get yourself that sharp knife, like I said. But this thing took me about 20 minutes to go ahead and trim. But just focus on what's important, because some of you guys, it might take you guys a little bit longer. You guys may be able to do it a little bit faster depending on your skills and your knife sharpness, but that's just what it's going to be. So let's get this mustard as a binder. And if you're asking why use mustard as a binder, this is to make that beautiful bark. So I have my boy Damien here. Shout out to my son. He loves the help. He's one of my fans, of course. And we're going to go ahead and start with some lemon pepper and season the heck out of it. The main thing to pay attention to is shaping it, of course. And what we want to do here is shape our brisket with some rub. So let's get our Montreal seasoning. This is a steak seasoning. I use this thing on everything. Carne asada, tri-tip, you name it. You can get it from Costco, by the way. But yeah, I love it. Just make sure you put a ton of this. And this is garlic powder. I put this pretty much on everything as well. Meat, pork, whatever, fish. Let's go ahead and flip the brisket and put some more mustard. You don't need a ton, just enough for that seasoning to stick. And this is how you get a delicious bark on your brisket, which is super important in barbecue and smoking meats, because you want that crunch on the outside with that softness on the inside. So we're going to go ahead and coat this together. Me and my boy, which is my tag team partner. Again, another shout out from my son. So he's always involved. And this is how this beautiful brisket looks once it's all seasoned up and ready for the smoker. All right, let's go. So we got our brisket all marinated, it's ready to go. As you can see, my son was helping me marinate this. He likes to help me, and we're using today the Pro Series 850 from Pit Boss. It's a great pellet smoker. We're going to be using a cherry wood to smoke it. We're going to smoke it for about 6 hours at first at 225 until it reaches about 175 internally. Then we're going to wrap it until we reach 210, and we're going to go ahead and let that rest for an hour, and we'll start slicing that brisket. So at this point, our beef brisket's all ready to go. It's all seasoned. We're going to throw it in that Pit Boss Pro Series 850. Go ahead and put our probe in there, because we want to be checking this internal temperature. We're looking for a temperature anywhere from 200 to about 210. It really just depends on your liking. But as the time goes on, it's going to be smoking. And I did smoke this for 24 hours. Okay, I started at 180, then I bumped it up to 200. And then 225, I even bumped it up to 250. So right now it's at 200, and we're looking for that 175 internal temp, so we can go ahead and wrap it in that butcher paper, finish the process off. But it's morning time, and I checked this. I set my alarm. Yeah, I wake up for my meat. That's right. It's that important to me. I want this thing to be right. All right, I was on a mission. So I could have done it in 18 hours, but I wanted to do it in 24. All right, so look, we're almost there. We're at 161. 172 is good enough. So we're going to go ahead and pull it. This thing is ready for the butcher paper. So you can wait for 175. I waited for 172. That's good enough for me. Go ahead and get your piece of wood out, put it on top of your grill, and let me show you this little trick that I like to do for meats. So I get two big long spatulas and I just roll the meat out. Very simple to do. Just don't drop that meat, all right? So it's time to wrap it in the butcher paper. Now what? So what you want to do is cut 2 even pieces of butcher paper, and you can use scissors, you can use a blade. I just use the blade because that's what I have. So go ahead and get some butter spray, and for all you haters, I don't care, I'm going to use the butter spray. You can use butter, some other stuff, some grease, some meat, whatever. I don't care what you use. I like the butter spray, and I'm going to use the butter spray. So go ahead and hit it up and place your brisket on there, and make sure you have enough to make that first bend. But before you do that, go ahead and get some steak seasoning, and I like to put a little butter again on the brisket on top so I can add more seasoning and it can stick to it. I'm just going to drench it in steak seasoning, that Montreal seasoning that I love so much, and just get an even coat, just enough to where you think, you know, this is good enough. Just use your best judgment. I like to just put it until it starts falling off to the sides. And if you see that it doesn't wrap on that first one, when you get in that butcher paper, just tuck it in a little bit, move it to the side. And what you want to do is tuck in the front part of the brisket. And what we're going to end up doing is start pinching it inwards and folding it. And what you want to do is fold both sides and flatten them out, because this will allow you to go ahead and roll it a lot easier. So go ahead and roll it, and then on the back side, when you're going to finish the roll, you want to give it a couple bends and then fold that on the inside at the end. You'll see right now when I flip this thing to the side like this. You see, you fold it once, you fold it again, and you just tuck it in. This is a proper way to fold a brisket using butcher paper.
Christmas morning, we wrapped our brisket. We're gonna throw it back into the smoker. I got Ronaldo right here. I mean, my son, well, plays like Ronaldo. But anyways, we're gonna throw this brisket, smack it. I'm gonna throw that brisket back in the smoker for about 6 hours. We're gonna get it up to 210 degrees. Go Lakers. Go Ronaldo. Bam. Let's get smoking.
Yeah.
All right, look how beautiful this thing is. Let's throw it back into the smoker, and we're looking for that 210 degrees or 205, 200, anywhere in that range is fine. Okay, everybody likes a different temperature, but don't forget, put that probe in there, okay? I'll check that temperature. Right now we're chilling at 193. It's not where we want to be at. So we're just going to keep checking on this thing about every hour till we reach temp. I went ahead and bumped it back up to 225 because I needed this thing to be done a little sooner. And you can really measure and calculate when this thing will be done. I pulled mine at 206. That was good enough for me. So this is a big tip. I'm going to go ahead and pull this brisket off. And instead of putting it in a cooler, I'm going to just put it in an aluminum pan. And I'm going to cover it with aluminum foil. You can do the cooler if you want. That's cool. That's what everyone does. This is what I do. All right, I throw it in this aluminum foil. And I just really seal this thing tight. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this thing out for 1 hour, just resting before I pull it out. So now that it's been resting for an hour, let's go ahead and see what's going on over here, man. All right, this is the funnest part. Getting that butcher paper, ripping it open, and just seeing the meat. And there's going to be a bunch of juice, so get that pan ready and save these juices because you're going to need them for later, okay? What I do is I just put the pan to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and just rip this open like a Christmas gift, you know, because it is Christmas today. So it's pretty cool. And just look at this beautiful thing. I mean, just gaze at it. It's all smoky. It's hot. It's ready to be sliced. I mean, this thing was an hour chilling and it's still piping hot. That's how I conserved it. All right. So go ahead and make that first slice in the middle. And this thing was so juicy. I mean, when I sliced it, I can smell it. I can see the bark, and just look how I squeeze it and all that fat comes out of it. You see in the center part right there, you can see the fat. This is why we trim our brisket. You can see that nice smoke ring as well. It's perfectly smoked, you guys. Everybody loved this brisket. It was a killer. It was a winner. And you know what? I'm just going to keep making briskets forever because I love them. It's just an easy delicious piece of meat that everyone loves. You know, beef, you can feed a lot more people beef than you can pork, so that's another thing. And look, it passes the flop test too. If you're wondering, yes, look how soft it is. And it rips apart in your hand. So I'm gonna go ahead and test it. Look how easy it rips apart. But the real thing we have to think about right now is, does it taste good? And dude, it tasted so dang good. I mean, I was just nibbling and nibbling. I just couldn't stop, but I just had to control myself because I don't want to be a slob. So kind of hard sometimes. But look, this meat was delicious. This is the presentation. Go ahead and like and love this video.